8 days after the tragedy, the industry was still trying to get back on track with countless high-profile media interviews during the week coming on the day of Owen's funeral in Calgary. WCW coming from the huge Astrodome in Houston, Texas in front of over 15,000 people, started with Raven arriving before being attacked by Page and Bigelow outside the stadium. 5 months after his life and career-threatening car accident, Eddie Guerrero made his television return, joining the commentary team talking about his injuries and the road to recovery and return to the ring, with the company showing pictures of his crushed car. Eddie said that he's now not taking anything for granted, thanking the fans and office for their wishes in his recovery of major head, knee and liver injuries. WCW's Unopposed Hour saw Page and Bigelow coming out to challenge Saturn and Canyon for the tag belts tonight, along with Page responding to Hogan's return last week. Closing the hour with Curt Hennig coming out to confront DJ Ren and singing country songs to go against his rap, until Conan and Ray came out to set up a match for later. Roddy Piper came out to open the second hour, calling out Dean Malenko after the start of the split of him and Benoit from the Horsemen. Piper put over Dean as Flair and Anderson walked to the ring. Malenko said that him and Benoit were standing behind Flair and his ego week after week, but now it's about passing the torch and looking to the future of the performers that will carry the company into the new millennium. Flair responded saying that until he sees someone who can carry it, he's not passing any torch, ending up with a Flair-Piper brawl, with the segment doing a 3.7 rating, the closest competitive quarter of the show. With Raw taped on May 25 just 2 days after the tragedy, the big talking point of the night happened seconds before the Raw opening even aired, as the company showed footage from Owen's funeral from earlier in the day in Calgary, showing the McMahon family, the talent roster and staff members who almost all flew in for the day at the funeral, along with a tribute to Owen with messages on buses and limousines. With personal business rivalries put aside, as Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior among others were all present and shown meeting with McMahon, in what would also be the first meeting of Bret Hart and McMahon since Montreal in November '97, having a conversation that will later turn into a personal public back and forth between them over what was said in the face-to-face meeting. The controversy started as, according to Owen's widow Martha, she specifically told McMahon and head of the company's Canada business Carl DeMarco, not to air any footage from the funeral on any of their television programs, saying that airing footage is self-serving and she was repulsed by it. Vince McMahon responded days later in a letter which included him going into detail about the cost the company covered in the funeral and transportation, saying that he spoke to Martha several times and at no time during their conversation she asked not to show their footage, but did say that she told DeMarco that she prefers no footage to be aired. Vince said that in later conversations and with media from all over the world at the funeral, it was agreed that it will only be appropriate to show footage on the company program as in a way for fans who loved Owen to get closure and say goodbye. Martha's response came a day later saying that no agreement has ever taken place, saying that she talked to DeMarco after the footage was aired and he said that he can't believe McMahon did this, as the public back and forth on perhaps the saddest day the industry has ever seen looked to be far from over. King and JR then introduced the audience to Raw, saying that they're going to come back in a big way right after a commercial break, with the company getting back to the follow-up of TV storylines from Over the Edge last Sunday. WCW had the Conan and Ray vs. Hennigan Duncan tag match, along with Randy Savage coming out teasing a match against Nash for tonight, saying that he's heard that Nash arrived at the Astrodome and can't wait until the pay-per-view. Raw's opening segment saw Vince McMahon coming out to confront the corporate ministry, saying that after everything Taker put his family through in the last few months, he's challenging him for tonight, along with booking a Taker vs. Austin rematch for the belt in the main event. Shane said the belt will be on the line only if Vince beats Taker, and if he loses Austin will never get a title shot again, ending the segment in a brawl with the Union coming out and Austin revealing himself as one of the Druids. With Bret Hart on his way to the Tonight Show appearance with Nash and Goldberg last week, Bischoff met him at the airport to send his condolences, telling him to take as much time off as he needs before coming back. With Bret doing interviews all over the media in the week after the tragedy including on Larry King, he praised Eric's handling of the situation as compared with McMahon, with Eric immediately chartering an airplane at the company's expense to fly him back to Canada, saying that when his brother Dean died while he was working for McMahon, Vince told him to work his scheduled match before flying home. As well as talking about the dangers and consequences of the promotional war going on in wrestling right now. Eric joined commentary in the second hour making constant shoot and worked shoot comments, as WCW had a battle of the pushed promoters' sons with David Flair against Eric Watts, with Bischoff on commentary playing off that burying Bill Watts' early 90s WCW regime while saying that David needs to go to the power plant for a few years before he's ready. After weeks of skits building up the character, Beaver Cleavage was set for his debut match coming out with his mom against Christian. With Owen reportedly set to beat Godfather in their match at Over the Edge, tag partner Jeff Jarrett was booked in the match that was supposed to happen last Sunday, with Jarrett instead going over to win the IC belt. Undertaker and Vince came out for their match minutes before the top of the hour, with the start of the match along with the Godfather Jarrett match gaining big with around 1 million viewers to a 6.5 rating. Starting with Taker dominating until pushing the ref for a DQ finish as Austin was watching on the monitor, making the title match official for later. WCW jumped around 1 million viewers back at the top of the hour for Randy Savage's promoted match with Nash, ending up with Savage bringing out a Nash imposter with a replica belt, with Team Madness beating him for 2 minutes. With Austin vs. Taker set along with reactions from Austin and Shane, Mankind came out calling out Triple H for a hardcore match while cutting a comedic promo on China. In probably the most notable comment from Eric on commentary, Tony asked Eric about his appearance on Larry King during the week, which also hosted Governor Jesse Ventura, leading to Eric cutting a shoot promo on Ventura saying that he's a joke and a good politician who talks from both sides of his mouth depending on the situation, saying that he will be a mid-card player in wrestling today but talks like he's an expert and the greatest thing to happen to the industry. Both companies had tag title matches head-to-head. WCW had Perry Saturn going against both Page and Bigelow for 11 minutes, while Raw had the Acolytes going over Kane and X-Pac. WCW's big segment of the night was next as Randy Savage was about to leave the stadium in the parking lot before his limousine was blocked by two trucks, with Nash coming out of a septic truck, filling the limousine with sewage through the sunroof in a funny skit 2 weeks from their Great American Bash main event. If everything that was going on since last Sunday wasn't enough, Sable announced her departure from the company while filling an over $100 million lawsuit against McMahon. Sable, who was one of the biggest TV draws in the business along with being one of the most recognizable names to the mass audience, left on bad terms after reportedly months of disagreements creatively and financially. Mankind and Hunter went 6 minutes in a hardcore match, in what is expected to be Foley's last match in a while, going against the entrances and first minute of the WCW main event cage match. Raw's peak segment of the night came at the final quarter with the end of the Mankind Triple H match, with Rock in his only appearance on the show, running and attacking Hunter, with Mick Foley doing an injury angle with him scheduled to take a few months off due to a legit knee surgery coming up, along with the first half of the 7-minute Austin Taker title match, with the end of it in the post-match overrun segment gaining around 700,000 viewers, more to a 7.3 for the teased reveal of the greater power. Sting and Rick Steiner went 6 minutes in the main event cage match, ending up with new signing Tank Abbott, who was heavily hyped throughout the show, turning on Sting to end the match, bumping around 500,000 viewers for the cage main event. The corporate ministry ran in to tie Austin in the ropes for the big reveal, bringing out the mystery leader of the group, who only revealed himself to Austin, selling big with a shocking reaction to build the legit reveal, as the company were looking to relaunch back to business after the last 2 weeks, hyping one of the biggest Raw shows of the year for next Monday.